everyone, and thank you so much for watching the next segment of Self-Made Successful Woman, and I am Selwa. And before we start, I just want to say something amazing. My guest today is also Arabic. To all my people from Jazair المغرب, هي من الجزائر وحنا كنهضروا العربية. Et pour mes amis qui parlent le français, je voudrais juste vous dire que mon amie ici est aussi algérienne et francophone, et je suis marocaine francophone qui vivant à New York. Self-Made Successful Women is a platform where inspirational women share their personal journeys, the challenge they have faced, but most importantly, what success means to them. How many of you out there are stay-at-home parents or spouses, but some days really want to be a part of something you can call your own? That's precisely what our guest today is going to talk about, and how she's using technology to help others start their own path towards achieving just that. Her interest in this all comes from personal experience. And those single or younger ladies watching, listen up. Today's conversation, I think, will really help prepare you for the moment you find yourself following your partner around for work, then wanting to revisit your independence. Joining me today is Amel Derragui. She is the host of the podcast Tandem Nomads. Hi, Amel.
Hello, Selwa.
Thank you so much for accepting our invitation for this show, Self-Made Successful Women.
It's a big pleasure.
And I'm really excited to hear your story because it's something a little different that we don't think about so much.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit more about you?
Okay, so I always say that I'm a global citizen and a nomadpreneur. I've been raised and lived all my life across 8 countries and 13 cities so far. So I've been growing and building my professional life along these different cities and continents.
So do you want to share a little bit more about what you do today?
I started my career in advertising, and then I quit my job 6 years ago and started my entrepreneurial journey. And I did it because my husband, the man that I met in Iran, was, going to be traveling all his life from a country to another, and I did it too. But this time I decided to quit my job and join him. And this is how my entrepreneurial journey started, when I decided to start my own business, my own portable business, as a freelance in marketing and communications. We've been together in Iran. That's where I started my business. Then 2 years later, we moved to Austria. And 2 years after that, we moved to New York. I also had another project, and that's taking a lot of my passion and my time, which is Tandem Nomads, which is a podcast show, like you explained, called designed to help expat spouses build portable careers and thrive in their global nomadic life. It's an amazing experience to be able to travel the world every 2-3 years and see the world. The problem that comes with that, when we're the following or the accompanying spouse, or trailing spouse, that like they're called traditionally, but after a few years we start losing our identity and wondering who we are, because there's not much else besides the family, which is an important part, of course. But most of us, being women or men, need that sense of accomplishment in our lives to feel completely full. So this is what I'm providing. I'm providing all these guidance to help expat spouses build their portable career and also enjoy this life. So this is what I'm doing. I'm sharing every week through the podcast show, but also all the platforms that I'm developing through Tandem Nomads, all these tips and inspiration, just like you, Salwa. Yeah. It's all about inspiring others to take their lives and do what they really want to do and achieve their dreams.
That's so great.
Yeah.
So what is your definition of success?
It's funny, for me, success is more about the path. It goes very well with the travel theme, is that it's not so much about the destination but the journey. And I always say, actually that's my motto in Tandem Nomads, is let's focus on turning the challenges into opportunities. So for me, we're not defined by our successes, but we're defined with how we manage to turn those challenges into opportunities to build our own success.
So every successful person has daily rituals. What are yours?
I like to say that my daily ritual starts the night before. Okay. I think that it's not so much about how you start the day, it's about how you finish it to build the best state of mind to start the next day. So it's not always easy when we have a busy life, but I really try when it's possible to go to bed early. And before I go to bed, I try to give myself half an hour to an hour in bed to cool down, to read an entertaining book. I stopped reading business books business-related books at night. I just read something fun and entertaining. And I also do affirmations or journaling before I fall asleep. And so that helps me put myself in the right state of mind before I go to bed. And then in the morning, depends on what time I fell asleep, but usually I would wake up around 5:30 or 6:30. I would start with stretching or exercising, depending on the time I have, while listening to a podcast. And then I would go through my schedule of the day, and while I'm having my cup of tea, and then I kick off the day.
So I want to know, what was your biggest challenge and how did you overcome it?
Yeah, when
There's
I think
many.
about it, there's many, but there is one that actually I remember made me feel so, just thinking about it makes me feel like kind of dizzy because it was so difficult for me when I quit my job and suddenly went to Iran, which was a country I didn't know. I didn't have any friends there, nothing. Of course, my husband made everything so much easier for me to settle down, and it was really great. But deep inside, something was missing, and I will never forget those first weeks when, my husband would just leave to go to work, and I will just have all this time and wondering how I'm gonna achieve what I want to achieve for myself. Where should I start in this unknown country, in this unknown space? And it was really hard. And I remember that I felt so lost that I couldn't stop crying for a few days, and I was like completely lost, wondering where to go.
How did you overcome that challenge? It was difficult for you, but where did you get the resources to get out of it?
First of all, express my needs and express my feelings in an intelligent way, in a way that it's not only like irrational and only listening to what my guts feels, but maybe more taking a step back every time I had to express something. That was the first thing. And then personally, what I did is right away, despite the really bad internet connection despite that all the social media pages were blocked, without internet, I wouldn't have done it. It took me twice the time it would have taken me here or any other country where it's free to surf. But internet for me was like the window to my freedom. I learned so many things. I started getting trainings, online trainings. I started figuring out how to start a business from scratch. I started making research because I had no mentor. I had nobody to help me start a business. So I really had to learn. And that has actually a very exciting aspect suddenly for me to start from scratch and learn. So it was a huge learning experience for me. And the third part was networking, like the importance of meeting people and starting to ask questions to people. I actually never approached people to say, listen, would you like to take my services? What I would do is say, I'm new here and I would like to know how it works. So could we just meet for a coffee so I can just ask you some questions? How does your business work? And some of the people became my clients.
What piece of advice would you give younger women that have been through what you have been through?
Okay, so I have two advices in one word that are linked. The first one is focus, and the second one is active patience.
Patience?
That's my theory. Focus is an acronym actually for follow one course until success. And the second is active patience, very related, is success does not come from one day to another. And one thing we have a tendency to do nowadays is to look for like quick success, and we have so many of these, inspiration out there that shows us this multimillionaires and all these successful people. It doesn't happen like this. And I think this is what we're forgetting, especially in the American culture. Everybody expects success to be there. It takes a long, long time to reach that spot. So we have to be patient, but actively patient by focusing on those objectives and those baby steps.
Yeah, very well said. And my last question, do you have a quote or mantra that you live by?
I think I already said it. It's turn the challenges into opportunities. Every time we have a problem, this is how I deal with it now. It's my way of being. Everybody says it's great to be positive, but I'm like, what can help me be positive? And one of the things is like every time I have a problem, say, how can this problem actually be a good thing? How can it be turned into an opportunity? And Tandem Nomads is a live example of a problem that I had, and I turned it into an opportunity to share all this journey with other women and also some men. There's some men who give up their jobs for the
Thank you for this interview. Thank you for sharing your story.
That's my
We'll make
pleasure.
sure to tell people to come and check your
Wonderful.
podcast. And guys, thank you so much for watching Self-Made Successful Woman. And if you are as inspired as I am with Amel, please come back next week for our next interview. And in the meantime, if you do have any questions or comments, please come onto my website at saluaibalin.com, and looking forward to see you next week. Bye.